Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Southerner's Northern Gardens. So this is a really exciting video for me. So I'm going to give you a little background first before I introduce you to this hydrangea. And so Oakleaf hydrangeas are something that I just went over in my last video, and it's not something I have a whole lot of in my garden. I intend to add a couple more, probably here and there where I can find space. One of the reasons is primarily traditional Oakleaf hydrangeas get massive, and so we're talking like over 10 foot tall and wide sometimes. And so there are a lot of new varieties that are smaller. There's not been as much development in the Oakleaf hydrangea space as far as marketing anyway, and there's not as many variety types out there. Beautiful things about Oakleaf hydrangeas is they have exfoliating bark for winter interest, which is something no other hydrangea can give you. And the leaves tend to turn red or burgundy in fall as all the trees are turning colors as well. And so that's a really interesting, unique color that Oakleaf hydrangeas give you that you can't get elsewhere. And so last year when I went to Arkansas to visit my friend Jess from Roots and Refuge Farm, we traveled to Texas for a day to visit a botanical garden down there. And while we were there, we were walking the gardens and I stumbled upon an Oakleaf hydrangea, of which at the time I did not know its name, and I snapped this picture and I found that it's probably most likely Snowflake. Now Snowflake is a non-patented hydrangea and it is incredible. And I knew at that point after I snapped that picture, I had to find a place to work it into my garden. Now over the past year, I've kind of looked online for Snowflake. It's not easily found, and so Snowflake's not patented, and I don't know why it's not easily located online. I have found it in some spaces in tiny containers, but I kind of wanted to start off with something bigger to begin with. So I started looking for new varieties of Oakleaf hydrangeas, and I stumbled upon this YouTube video by a company called Plant Nouveau, and I watched the video on this hydrangea called Snowcicle. At the end of the video, there was a number and an email address to call or email if you were interested in this plant. And I was interested in it, and I can only find it on 2 places online. And so I emailed the company. Her name was Linda Guy, and she responded and said that if I was able to locate it, she would purchase it for me and have it sent to me. I explained that I was on YouTube and wanted to kind of trial it in my garden. Linda was currently in the Netherlands, and so this is a Mobile, Alabama company, which really tore at my heartstrings, missing Alabama. And so she was very kind enough to get with Fast Growing Trees, which is where this hydrangea come from. So right now, the only availability that I've seen online for this hydrangea is from fastgrowingtrees.com. There's another website, and it's back ordered, and it's a smaller container. So this is a 2-gallon container. And I'll put a link below if you're interested in it. This hydrangea come from a seed from a hydrangea unknown at the time from 2003. This breeder in Virginia bred this hydrangea open pollinated kind of in 2003. In 2008, he kind of discovered that he wanted to propagate this variety, and it was first propagated, and it just made it to market in 2021 last year. The patent was accepted by the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office in 2021. The patent was filed in 2020. And so it's very difficult to find this hydrangea. You're probably not going to be able to find it locally anywhere. And what I really love about it is it looks very similar to Snowflake, that hydrangea Jess and I saw in Texas. It's supposed to be a bit improved though, in that its branches are more upright. And so the panicles on this hydrangea alone can be 12 to 14 inches. 12 to 14 inches, that is crazy. And so I am super excited to have this in my garden. I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to put it yet. I'm thinking of 2 options. One on the north side where the hydrangea hedge is, the incredible hydrangea hedge, kind of on an end, so the end closest to the spruce. I'll put a picture on the screen. But I've been thinking about that, and I don't really want to break up that hydrangea hedge with another hydrangea. It's really coming into its own this year in its 3rd or its 4th growing season, and it's just something magical, and I'm not sure that I want to break that up. The second option is right next to my garage on the left side, where I have a Hamlet's Broom redwood, Dawn redwood, I think is what it's called. I picked up that small tree shrub 3 years ago now, and it has never performed for me well. I got it at a discount. It was already discounted because it wasn't performing great. And so I think there's just been something wrong with that shrub, then it hasn't performed well. So this hydrangea says that it will get 5 to 6 foot tall and wide potentially. And I think having this out front will be really interesting. Now, Oakleaf hydrangeas typically like shade. The interesting thing about living in Southwest Ohio is it's possible in some instances to give these full sun. Putting it on the front side of my house will give it eastern sun, and it will get sun through lunchtime, which I think will be okay. It'll be that morning sun before it gets, lunchtime, and that hot burning afternoon sun, there won't be any there. Now, it probably will burn for a couple years until it gets settled into that space, but I'm leaning more towards that space than on the north side in the incredible hydrangea hedge, mainly because I don't have a lot of hydrangea interest in my front yard. And this is a garden full of hydrangeas, as you know. I have over 100 different varieties, not 100 varieties, but 100 total plants in the garden, and I've added more this year. And so I think having a nice big statement piece out front, that is just something beautiful to look at. So the panicles on this hydrangea, because they get so big, you can use them very interestingly in cut flower arrangements, or you can dry them. I've seen them used as like a chandelier, Oakleaf specifically because they tend to droop, and I think Snowflake was probably the one I saw that was a chandelier type. So you just group a bunch of them together and hang it as a statement piece. But I am just really excited about this hydrangea specifically, and getting another Oakleaf in my garden. And so Snow Queen, which you saw that I planted in the last video, the patent for this plant says it's very similar to Snow Queen and Snowflake in its habit. And so that gives me some excitement that the plant that I just planted, that I picked out from the garden center before even knowing that it had a similar habit to this one had been ordered and was coming to my door. So if you're interested in this hydrangea, I would recommend you purchasing it from Fast Growing Trees. I'll put the link below to their website, particularly if you want it now, because the other website that I found was back ordered and you're not going to be able to get it, and I think it was a tinier container. So Fast Growing Trees shipped it out on Friday, and I got it today, which is Sunday, which was incredibly quickly. It came from South Carolina, packaged incredibly well. When I talked to their customer service, I spoke with a guy named Elvis, who was apparently a voice actor as well, who was super kind and really helpful. And then when I called back to get a tracking number later because of the way we had to order this and arrange it, I spoke to another customer service representative, and she was also super helpful. So Fast Growing Trees, I haven't mentioned them on my channel before, but it is also the company that I purchased all of my green giant arborvitae from 4 years ago. And so they have done incredibly well. I didn't lose any of them of the 26 I purchased, and so I highly recommend them. They don't only sell trees, they sell lots of shrubs as well, especially larger shrubs. Like this is a 2-gallon. I think it's the biggest size available right now. And since it is just now starting to be propagated and marketed, it'll take a while to get. So let me know where you think I should plant this Oakleaf hydrangea. Because it's so late in the day, I'm not going to be planting this today, and we're having those high temperatures Tuesday and Wednesday. And so I'm probably going to wait towards the weekend or until it starts to cool off a little more before I get this in the ground. So let me know where you think I should plant this. If you've been watching my channel, if there's anywhere else in the garden you think I should stick it, let me know that as well. It is smaller, so I do want to give it a little protection, and I think the front garage space is going to be the best spot for that. Thank you guys for joining me, and remember, in a world full of hate, be a light. Take care, everyone. Bye.